Is Felger and Mazz your favorite afternoon show?
Yes, 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 yes!
Felger and Mazz.
Matias Michelli checked on the play. Puck cleared. Empty net. Dylan Cousins to Pinto. And back to Cousins to wrap up the season.
Well, the Ottawa Senators will head into the playoffs on a very positive winning note. James Reimer will get the win. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, in a close played match, will solidify a top 5 pick in the draft, or protected pick, so to speak.
If you've been following this, the Bruins last year at the trade deadline sold a bunch of pieces, and Don Sweeney made a really nice trade with Toronto, sending them Brandon Carlo for a protected first-round pick this year. Protected being top 5 protected. So anything outside of the top 5 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if the Toronto Maple Leafs, which you never thought at the time, Toronto, which had been a contending team for years with Austin Matthews and certainly had playoff problems, but was no cellar dweller. So you thought at the time this top 5 thing is cute, but it's not going to come into play. Oh, it came into play. It came into play as they had injuries and massive underperformance, and Toronto was below the playoff line for most all of the year. And so that was great news for the Bruins. You were going to get a high draft pick. There was still no way they were going to finish at the bottom of the league. They had too much talent to finish at the bottom of the league. But, oh no, they put their minds to it and went on a tanking spree that would make the worst NBA tanker envious of how they tanked. After losing last night, the Maple Leafs finished the year with 7 straight losses, Mazz. 8 of their last 9, 11 of their last 14. Never mind the 8-game losing streak that they had in February into March. These freaking losers.
They won 5 of their last 25 games, I think it is.
Losers. And this will come back to bite them. The hockey gods do not stand for this. The sports gods do not stand for this. You know how I feel about this. That if you willfully lose like this, that makes you a loser, and you are thus consigned to be a loser for the end of days.
And you double that with the loserdom that surrounds the Toronto Maple Leafs. It just feels like they got it coming. You got to hope.
So they worked really hard to get into the bottom 5. They got into the bottom 5. But it's not over. Odds are actually still that they end out of the top 5 because of the way the lottery works. So they are just in the 5th lottery position. That's not guaranteed to be the 5th pick. Their odds to pick 6th or 7th are 58.2%. So the Bruins' chances are still better than 50-50 to come out of this with the 6th or 7th overall pick.
Boy, this is a big development if however it goes.
So the odds of the Leafs keeping their 5th pick or higher is 41 point
and change.
Yeah, 41 and change. So those are the parameters. If they had fallen to 6th, they would have had only an 8.5% chance of climbing up there. But that's that. I think it'll come back to bite them because I just think if you are that kind of franchise, if that's what you do, it just doesn't work out for you. I don't believe in it. Especially because when they came out of the Olympics, they were still within shouting distance of the playoffs. They were in it.
Oh, definitely.
And they went on one bad stretch and said, that's it. And Matthews got hurt. So they just tanked it. So let's see how it goes. Ping pong balls are drawn on May 5th. So that'll be the porking of the ping pong balls. And you know me, I'm not a huge draft guy. I think these drafts are overrated. But the difference between getting the 6th or 7th overall pick, the year after you got to pick 7th with James Higgins, that's a pretty nifty thing to have at your disposal as they're rebuilding. If they don't, then there's this complicated formula. If the Leafs keep, a top 5 pick, then there's this formula that the Bruins are going to have to wait until 2027 or 2028. 2027 get a pick that's outside of the top 10 or whatever. They're not going to. Whenever they get this Toronto pick, it's going to be either 2 years down the road or 3 years, 1 or 2 years down the road, I should say. And it's not going to be anywhere in the top 10. So this is really their crack at getting a premium pick from the Leafs for that trade. And the Leafs just made sure it didn't happen. Were you looking something up there, man?
Yeah, I was just looking up to see what the projections were for the draft. It says that it's a very deep draft. So, and I was looking to see what types of players. The guys who are slated to go 6th and 7th are both centers. Bruins could use a center, so I'm just giving you a little background.
So you have a thought, Murray?
Yeah, you got to hope history repeats itself. I mean, the Bruins had the 5th odds and landed at 7 last year. You got to hope that the same thing happens to Toronto. They deserve it. They deserve to get boned by this.
They deserve to get boned by this.
Yeah, they do. And it also says, by the way, that this draft has often been described as an A-plus class for defensemen.
Is that right?
3 of the first 5 picks are scheduled to be defensemen.
Okay. So this leads into, not exactly related, but it's something that I've been big on over the years, and I've been arguing with hockey fans about over the years, about the way to build and, get to the top of the NHL. And a lot of fans are stuck in this thing about you need to have high draft picks. That's just the way that you do it. And I look out across the NHL, and I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I mean, I was triggered by an email I got. Eric in Manchester wrote me and said, it is well documented that you are opposed to the Bruins or any NHL team sucking, rebuilding, and getting high draft picks. He says, in the last 15 years, Felger, do you know that only one team has made the Stanley Cup final without a top 5 pick? Only one team has made a final without a top 5 pick in the last 15 years. Guess who that was?
Florida.
Nope. The Bruins in 2019.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. But so he's saying in the last 15 years, every other Stanley Cup finalist has had a top 5 pick on the roster. He said, I know the real reason you don't want the Bruins to do it, because that would be bad for business. But to say it doesn't work is flat out wrong. Eric in Manchester.
So when I said Florida, I meant their own pick. Florida traded for a bunch of guys who were high picks, but keep going.
I'm going to get into this whole exercise. Sasha Barkov was a number 2 overall pick. So they actually had one of their guys drafted in the top 5. But you're barking up the right tree, which is to say, okay, so every Stanley Cup finalist had a top 5 pick on their roster. All right, and I didn't start looking it up, but I mean, just off the top of my head, all right, the Vegas Knights had Jack Eichel, drafted 2 overall by someone else. The Panthers, just to use that example, Barkov was drafted 2 overall 11 years before they made a final. 11. When did the Panthers become the Panthers?
3 years ago.
When they traded for Matthew Tkachuk from someone else. Tkachuk was a high draft pick. I don't know if he was in the top 5, but he was a high draft pick. But that's what changed the fortunes of the Florida Panthers. When they traded for a couple of former high picks on other teams. Reinhart, Matthew Tkachuk, Bennett, thank you, very good. That's when they became the Panthers. Just sucking and drafting Sasha Barkov got them nowhere. I stand by it. Someone has to tell me how this has worked for these teams. Vinny Crouch has a good graphic that he just put up here. Here's going back to 2018, the first overall picks. I'm going to give you top 3, top 5, first round. No. These are the franchise first overall picks and what they've done in the playoffs. Rasmus Dahlin for the Sabres will play his first playoff game on Sunday against the Bruins. He was a 2018 first overall pick, hasn't even made the playoffs. Jack Hughes has won exactly 1 playoff round in his career. Just missed it again this past year. Alex Lafreniere with the Rangers, they went on a couple of runs with Lafreniere, never made a cup final. And he is a first overall pick. I don't know if you'd feel good about him as a first overall pick. He's not even a 30-goal scorer or a 60-point guy. He's under 30 goals, under 60 points every year. Owen Power, drafted first overall by the Buffalo Sabres in 2021, will play his first playoff game on Sunday. The Canadians drafted Slavkovsky first overall. He had 1 playoff appearance. This will be his 2nd playoff appearance since being drafted in 2022. Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, and Matthew Schaefer, who looks awesome. Couldn't even get the Islanders to the playoffs. Celebrini, 2 straight years out of the playoffs. Bedard, 4 straight years out of the playoffs. So, tell me how that works again. Tell me how this is working. I don't see how it works. You need to tell me, not just a first overall pick. I asked this on the air the other day. Who was the last top 10 pick drafted by a team who then was the central figure in leading his team to a Stanley Cup championship? Tell me the last time that happened. And the only one I could come up with was Cale Makar. even though you can make the case that McKinnon, that really was McKinnon's team. But give me the last. I mean, again, Sasha Barkov was drafted in the top 2 by the Florida Panthers.
Yep.
But it took him 11 years to win a cup, and that team really turned around by all those trades. You tell me, Majori, when was the last top 10 pick to lead his team to a championship as the central figure?
It's probably Barkov.
I mean, again, I would go Makar first. Makar was 4th overall by the Colorado Avalanche in 2017. I give you Cale Makar for sure. Stud. And put that Colorado team over the top, and I'll give you Cale Makar. Just give me another one. In the last decade, give me a single top 10 pick that took his team to the championship. Eichel had to be traded. Eichel did squat. Eichel was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres in 2015, and they never even made the playoffs. Someone give it to me. Someone tell me who. Who's that guy?
I'm looking up some of those players on the Kings team, but that's a hair out of so Drew Doughty, 2nd overall.
I mean, Nathan McKinnon.
How about Hedman?
Love Victor Hedman. When was that? When was he drafted?
Good question. Oh, you said drafted. Drafted when?
Drafted in the top 10 and was a central figure in leading his team to a championship. Hedman, I would give you. It's been a while. Victor Hedman was drafted in 2009, and I can't tell you how long it took him to win. Maybe 10 years?
Yeah, they won in 2020, yep.
So, okay.
I don't know if you'd call him the central figure. But
Right. It's just Stamkos? Or, you tell me.
So Doughty, it took 4 years for him to win. He was drafted in 2008, 2nd overall.
So there's another one. 2008. 18 years ago. You kids, you draft dorks. This is what this is.
But if you're the Sharks, you're feeling pretty good right now.
You are. Let's see them win something. Let's see them win. If Macklin Celebrini is this transformative franchise, next level talent, he's had missed the playoffs 2 straight years. Can't even make the playoffs. Half the teams make the playoffs. He can't even get there.
They were close.
Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard was drafted in 4 years ago. Here's where they finished since they drafted Connor Bedard. 8th, 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 and 8th. Maybe it was only 3 years. They drafted him in last place, and they remain in last place.
Yeah, Chicago feels like a mess. Islanders ended up blowing it. They were in the playoff mix. Those first 2 teams, though, those first players you put up, the Islanders and the Sharks, you feel pretty good about your prospects with those 2 guys going forward right now. Chicago, not so much.
Let's see. These teams that suck in draft and build around these draft picks have done nothing. Nothing.
I mean, it's dangerous to get that bad. It's, look, this is ultimately your point.
The Bruins did it the right way.
It's dangerous to get that bad because you might get the guy and still take forever to get out of it.
Everyone has the guy and no one's winning. You can only pick like 2 or 3 names in the last 20 years. I mean, I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. Do it yourself. In the last 20 years, how many guys were drafted? And I'm giving you the top 10. I should make it the top 5. But I'll give you top 10. I'll give you more chances at this. You draft nerds. Dorks. Because all this is just this draft dorkery. I don't even think the draft talk is sports. It's not. It's like your fantasy football game.
No, that's right. It's like playing the market.
You're playing rotisserie. It's not even really sports. I've grown to just be so anti this draft, but the draft talk.
It's stocks.
All it is these dweebs playing with their draft boards. Now I'm talking the actual games, nerd. Tell me, in the last, I'm giving you a huge sample. In the last 20 years, how many top 10 picks produced championships and were central figures in for the teams they were drafted by? Give me how many players. Makar is one. McKinnon is one. Hedman is one. I don't know if I want to give you Sasha. You know what? They have to have won a title within 10 years of being drafted. Sasha Barkov drafted 2nd overall in 2003, I think it was 2003, and they win their first cup in 2024. Would you say that draft pick really produced that championship after 11 years?
You mean 2013,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Not 03. You said 03.
You said 03.
Was he drafted in 2013? Yeah, 2013, right? I'm sorry, 2013. 11 years later, they won in 2024. That is what I meant. But how many? There's maybe a handful out of how many draft picks now? Is that 10 years, 20 years, 200?
And Doughty, Crosby.
Sidney Crosby?
Yeah.
Was that? I think that's older than 20 years. Last 20 years. Okay? Just give me the names. Central figures in producing a championship for that team. Not after trades, not on their second team, not on their third team. Central figures. And tell me it still works. I don't see it working. You tell me where, but get out of your draft guide and log off your draft site, and now give me the actual scores in the actual adult games that matter, and tell me how many times this has worked in the last 20 years. I'm giving you a huge sample.
You have to have the cup, right? Obviously.
Championship. Why?
I mean, McDavid. I mean, he gets there. Can't win it, but
I'd take him, but still hasn't won it. So it's just a little exercise. I have more because I'm obsessed with this topic because you keep triggering me. Well, back with more right after this.
Mike and Tony have a definite chemistry.
Are they? 100%.
Are they?
Yes, 100. Do I stutter?
Consider them the periodic table of sports talk.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Sorry. I don't mean to blow a gasket.
No. Blow it, baby. Blow it.
Felger and Mazz.
At least the football draft nerds, I'll say this. I see tangible results from good picks being made up high, going into the NFL and winning games at the NFL level, and teams going from bad to good based on good draft picks. Like I see that in the NFL. I've been failing to see it in hockey, and I'm just giving you the facts. Mike, give me a top NHL pick that led a team to a cup. His team.
Your team, Mike. The Chicago Blackhawks.
In the last 20 years, when was Jonathan Taves drafted?
Not Taves. What about
Kane. Taves and Kane. They were drafted in back-to-back years, late 90s. I don't have the year in front of me. Do you have it?
I don't have the draft stuff up.
Last 20 years.
They were 06, 07.
Oh, barely. 06, 07. Why do I think it was the late 90s? Either way, okay. There's a good example. 20 years ago, the Blackhawks did it. How are the Blackhawks doing now?
not good.
Huh, interesting. So they've tried it again. And so listen, 20 years ago and later, maybe the landscape was different and it did work.
Did they win 2 or 3?
They won 3.
Okay.
The current Chicago Blackhawks have missed the playoffs for 6 straight years, and they haven't been close. In those 6 years, they've finished 6th, 7th, 8th, 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 and 8th. This despite drafting the next big thing, Connor Bedard, 3 years ago. They've also drafted, since 2019, they've had the 3rd, 17th, 7th, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd overall picks, and they blow. Second worst team in the league. All they've done is suck and draft, and have done nothing but suck. Chris in the car, NHL player that led his team to a cup after being drafted in the top 10 by that team.
Afternoon, gents.
Huh?
First time, long time. Last caller stole my thunder. I was going to say Chicago Blackhawks with Patrick Kane, but also the same year, second pick was James Van Riemsdyk for Philadelphia Flyers, and Chicago Blackhawks, Philadelphia Flyers face each other.
Yeah, and the Flyers didn't win. So again, congratulations. Taves and Kane in 2006, 20 years ago. 20 years ago. The Detroit Red Wings have been doing nothing but drafting for a decade. 10th straight year out of the playoffs. And I'm giving you a low bar on this.
And they were in it, and they blew it.
Half the league makes the playoffs. So a lot of these playoff teams still aren't very good. But I'm going to give you, if you're a playoff team, I'll say that your approach has borne some fruit. Detroit, 10 straight years out, a lost decade.
Brutal.
In Hockey Town. A decade without getting to watch a single playoff game. And in that time, they've had the 9th, 6th, 6th, 4th overall, 6th, 8th, 9th, 15th, and 13th overall picks. And they still can't even make the playoffs. They can't even get past the 17th team.
That is brutal. That's embarrassing.
Columbus, 6 straight years out of the playoffs. They have picked 12th, 5th, 6th, 3rd, 4th, 14th, and 20th. Can't even make the tournament. San Jose. Here's my new target. Everyone loves San Jose now. 7 straight years out of the 7. You're giving away a whole decade. Lose your fan base. Lose any juice you have behind your franchise.
And they've been in the top 5 a lot, haven't they?
Only the dorkiest of the dorky, get horned up over hockey draft picks because you're picking 18-year-old kids who are still in juniors and are not, have years to go. So, even making the pick doesn't really juice your fan base. You're doing nothing but just sucking in front of half-empty buildings for a decade for the San Jose Sharks to do what? They've missed it 7 straight years, and they haven't been all that close even this year, Murray. They were 6 points back of the final wildcard spot. That's not even that close.
Well, they crapped their pants, but they were in it.
Since 2021, they've drafted 7th, 4th, 1st, 11th, and 2nd, including Macklin Celebrini, this Michael Misa kid who hates teddy bears that everyone wanted. Suck, and suck.
Arrow's pointing up, though.
Forever. It's always pointing up. It's pointing up in Chicago. It's pointing up in Detroit. Look at all the draft picks we have. See where we were drafted?
So, but what's
the arrow tells you where to go.
So would you rather not have Celebrini? Do you want to trade him for established players so you can get to the stupid middle? What's the fix here?
What's better, the stupid middle or the stupid basement? The stupid middle, you have games that count in playoffs.
Yeah, for a few weeks.
So you'd rather be Detroit than Boston?
No, I'd rather be Boston because Boston still has some nice young players. They just brought up this James Higgins. There's a good mix here.
You'd rather be the Blackhawks than the Bruins? Blackhawks are picking second again.
Again, you're trying to twist this. I'm
not twisting it. I'm giving you
the Sharks
the two choices.
Are the Sharks in a bad spot right now with Macklin Celebrini? No.
Until I see them do anything, I'm not impressed. They're just another team with a bunch of high draft picks that can't win, which the league has been littered with. Took Buffalo 14 years. 14 years in which they had and have drafted 16th, 12th, 14th, 8th, 16th, 2nd. That was Reinhart and Eichel back-to-back. They drafted Sam Reinhart and Eichel in back-to-back.
Traded them both.
In back-to-back years and couldn't win. Now, and I say not win, not even make the effing playoffs, Murray. I'm not talking cups. I'm talking they couldn't even get to 8th. Drafting Reinhart and Eichel in back-to-back years. They drafted 8th, 1st, 7th, 8th, 1st, 14th, 9th, 13th, 14th, 9th. It took them 14 years. You want to be that? Philly is finally back after a 5-year drought. Feels quick by comparison with some of these teams. 5 years in which they picked 5th, 7th, 13th, and 6th, and barely by the skin of their foreskin got into the playoffs. It took them 4 years just to get to the very bottom. They've just, the Bruins have more points in them, but because the Metro is a different whatever. So you're giving away a half decade, at best, a half decade. I'm sorry, I don't see it. It works. Show me. 20 years ago, it worked for the Blackhawks. Yes. 20 years ago, it worked for the Blackhawks, yes. And you want to say it worked for the Avalanche? Fine, there's one example. I don't see who else it's worked for.
And there's some real crummy organizations out like there. The Sabres, Detroit, there's a suck organization, the Blackhawks. But what's the alternative then? You have to draft.
No, trade. Draft well, yes, you have to draft well. But just turning your franchise over to these kids, these draft picks, it doesn't. I think I'm factually accurate in saying it's not working.
See, Murray, so when you say there were some bad franchises out there, this is sort of the point. Don't become that. Like, I do think, the lesson to me is, because how many of those guys end up getting traded and do go to places that win, right? So it's something about being in that organization that they're effing up. And they're not supporting the players properly. They're not developing them properly. They put them in a bad. When you get that bad,
in a perfect world, we'd relegate them.
The culture deteriorates to a point where you can't win.
Well, I just think there's something about. I don't know. I mean, there's never been more high-end hockey players. The talent's there, and these kids are studs. I'm not saying they suck, But either there's something about the way they're being developed or where they go after they get drafted or the nature of the league that has changed. I'm sorry. I'm right. Yeah, just look at it. All these high draft picks have not produced at the NHL level, going back for quite some time. So maybe you shouldn't call up to debate me. I'm right. There's no debate. I just gave you the scoreboard. It's why. Why? How can a team draft like that for a decade and not Detroit's not a bad organization. Detroit's one of the good ones. Is it why are these kids why can't the kids win? So I'm like, that's really the question. Why is this the way that it is? But anyway, I'm done. Here's an update with Big Jim, and then we're right back. I'm sorry. I'm right. I am.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts, calls, emails.
Oh, yeah.
I get my jollies out of it. I do. I'm not a good person. Go ahead.
Felger and Mazz.
Oh, yeah.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Well, I'll give you the latest on the Diana Rossini situation. Oh, we have 5 questions that have nothing to do with sports. So a couple calls, 5 questions that have nothing to do with sports. And then at 5, we'll give you the latest, report on how the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel thing might have gone down and how they might have gotten nabbed. There's some reporting on that we'll get to here coming up in a minute. But to your phones, Mike in Braintree, NHL player drafted in the top 10 who led that team to a cup last 20 years.
Yeah, I agree with you, Felger. I'm not going to argue your point, but I found one, Pietrangelo with the Blues. It took him 10 years, but he did it.
Okay, central figure in winning that cup?
He's close.
He's close. I liked him. He was good.
He's close. I mean, he's a legit defenseman.
Or is that more about that goalie going nuclear there for a few weeks?
Ryan O'Reilly and it's close, but
he was a big part of it, though.
He was. So, I'm telling you, I'm not,
You said central figure,
I'm
right?
fair. He was one of the central figures, and it took a decade.
Yep.
It took 10 years. So this is another thing I think people don't appreciate. If you want to do this,
this is what it takes.
It takes a decade.
Right.
It takes at least a half decade of sucking, and then 10 years for the kid to grow up.
Well, especially the defenseman. I mean, Makar's kind of a freak in that way. It happened fast with him.
Every like Haley's Comet. Yes, Kane and Taves were drafted in 06 and 07. And they started winning cups in 2011. Okay, that was pretty quick. The Blackhawks had to suck for 7 years before that. So, but that's quick on this. Since then, you've got to suck for 5 to 10 years. And then I guess you've got to wait another 10 for the guy to grow up. I mean, do you realize that that's what it takes? And, oh, by the way, you are stretching to find me examples of players drafted in the top 10 by their team who were central figures in leading that team to a cup. You've got to stretch. We're now, if I give you Alex Pietrangelo, that's 5 times in the last 20 years. Again, starting with the Blackhawks 06, 07, so it's last night since that team. We only come up with 5 names.
And even then, they still have to wait 10 years to get it.
And then you had to wait. You had to suck for that long and then wait that long. So the NHL draft stuff is worse than, at least in the NBA, I can see Brown and Tatum get drafted in the top 3, and then 6-7 years later, they're winning. I can see Cade Cunningham. I can see Wembanyama. I see this.
Well, in that sport, one guy can make a huge difference.
Okay. I see in the NFL good drafting teams. The Seattle Seahawks just won a Super Bowl. Their last 9 first and second round picks were on the field in the Super Bowl. I see it. So you want to dork out to the NFL draft and dork out to the NBA draft. Well, at least I think it's painful, but at least if you get the right guy, I can see them winning on the level I care about in a set amount of time. In hockey, that's not even happening. So why again? It's just a glorified version of your fantasy league.
Yeah, listen, people get totally dork out about the whole freaking play GM. They love it.
Tears, Boston sports scandals. Anthony and Lynn, what's your contribution? That's not. Are you there? Not a great contribution. How about Joe in New Hampshire? What's your contribution?
The carjacker, as Murray would refer to him, whacking it in a parking lot, and Justin Warwasser that said he didn't know what his tattoo meant.
Okay, so the first one.
What was the catcher's name?
The carjacker, Reese McGuire.
Reese McGuire. There it was.
McGuire.
I can't remember the guy's name walking down the hall right here who's been working here for 15 years, but I somehow remember the carjacker as Reese McGuire. He wasn't a Red Sox when it happened.
No, he wasn't.
And
He was with the Blue
Warwasser
Jays.
was just a draft pick. Neither were Boston sports scandals. Sorry. Joe and Canton, yes.
Guys, in February of 1992, Red Sox first baseman Carlos Quintana, the Q, fell out of a car that he was driving in Caracas. The Q broke his left arm and his left foot. Guys, that's not the craziest part. He was driving his two brothers to the hospital because they had been shot that day. It was a family affair.
Okay. It's not on my list.
Not really, no. I mean, again.
That's a wild story, though.
It is a wild story. There are got a lot of them with the Red Sox over the years.
Mike and Southie, give me an NHL draft pick.
Yeah, you got Ekblad.
Huh?
Couple cops right there.
Okay.
Aaron Ekblad?
Yeah, he was traded. Was he on the? I'm trying to remember what happened to him. Was he on the Florida team? I thought he was traded. And when was he drafted? And when did they end up winning? So if I'm going to look it up, someone please talk.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he was drafted
I
first
thought he was...
overall in 2014. But where did he get shipped to?
Did he lead? I don't know why I'm blanking on whether he was on the Blackhawks team that won it.
I thought he was still on. Sorry, I thought he was still on the line.
Yeah, so he was. So Aaron Ekblad, I put in the same category as Barkov. He was drafted first overall in 2014. They won the Cup 10 years later. Was Aaron Ekblad a central figure on that team?
No.
I say no.
I'll give you Barkov. Barkov, to me, was a central figure on that team. Ekblad, certainly good. Ekblad, the last 2 years, has scored 4 and 3 goals. So I don't.
I thought they traded him. He was basically a bust.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving you Aaron Ekblad. Sorry. Mike in the car, what do you got?
Hey, guys. Just real quick, I know it's outside the window, but Pittsburgh home run with Crosby and Malcolm back-to-back is just outside the window. But
what years?
Buffalo, they had the right guys. Eichel and Reinhardt, it just seems like they don't know how to go around with these guys.
What?
Tampa seems to have a knack to draft well and find guys in the league that fit in perfectly with their draft.
Yeah, they're an excellent drafting team. Absolutely. And if I could look up when Stamkos was drafted and when they won, you might give me Stamkos.
08.
Fits into the time frame. 08, so that fits. So I got to give you Stamkos. I think that definitely qualifies. We're up to 6.
Yeah, but see, again, I think that, I'm not arguing against your point because I think generally speaking, it's right.
We're casting about to find examples.
Yeah, it's when you do it this way, you're a bad organization by definition. And so what happens is you can't, you F up the draft or you trade away the players or the player doesn't want to be there. Like there's all of that comes into play. People miss it.
But
part of it, Buffalo, is they drafted okay. They drafted okay with some of those guys.
Bunch of players in here.
Yeah, they had to get rid of them, though, because they couldn't figure out how to build around them, or the players became disenchanted and said, get me the hell out of here.
To me, maybe it's just something about it's not the kids. It's the adults. And if you've got the right adults and you sprinkle in a really talented kid, maybe you can get that to work. But just drafting and turn your team over to these kids has done nothing. Has done nothing in the league for a long time.
They don't know how to win when they're young. Most of them.
How did those pitchers come to be of Vrabel and Rossini? There's been someone who's been on this story for a long time, has some details, and we'll give those to you in our long commercial-free segment next.
Now, more of Felger and Mazz on the Sports Hub.
I got 5 questions.
Mike Felger and Tony Mazz.
I got 5 questions that got nothing to do with sports. I got 5 questions. 5! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 questions. I hope this segment ain't too wide.
5 questions, nothing to do with sports. A Thursday staple, still looking for sponsorship. Question number 1. The second
We've got a sponsor for what's gone up Mazz's ass.
Right.
How do we not have a sponsor for this?
You got me.
We did once before.
Wake up, Moscatel. Jesus.
Second weekend of Coachella is taking place this weekend. What 3 headliners would get you to attend a 3-day music festival in the middle of the California desert?
None. You couldn't. There's no living act that would get me there. I'll travel to go see living acts in certain places. If you say, like, I have to pick them.
No, you don't have to.
I don't have to. Right, yeah. I mean, to me, the answer is none. If you are making me go and I have to pick 3, I don't know if I can give you 3. Pearl Jam, after Weir died, I can't even say Dead and Company. Whatever if they reform as something, that. I don't even really have a third.
No, none is an acceptable answer.
None is the answer.
So again, look, I played the game as if, like, what would it take to get me to go? So, but I would ultimately say none. But I would tell you Taylor Swift. I would go see Taylor Swift. I've never seen Taylor Swift. Eminem. Like, I am fascinated by Eminem. I am. I think the guy's amazingly talented. And Bruno Mars.
So I'm with Mike. There's none. You couldn't. I don't want to go to any festival. I want all the festivals banned. I think they're all horrible. But you could dig up.
Well, why not just not go? Why would you ban them for people who do enjoy them?
Just go to shows. You don't, because it's now the look at me fest with influencers and look at how much we're paying for this fancy tent and there's a Nobu here. Like, go F yourselves. But they could dig up Lane Staley, put Alice in Chains back together, the real one. Jim Morrison, Full Doors, and John Bonham, Full Zeppelin, and tell me they're playing at Coachella. You still wouldn't get me there. It looks like hell on earth. Next, Zoe said on Zolak and Bertrand today, we have, quote, a rice and vegetable problem at the cafeteria downstairs here in the building. Agree or disagree, do we have a rice and vegetable problem at the caf downstairs?
So I asked you to put this in here because I think I heard Zoe mention this briefly the other day. I didn't hear the full conversation. And then on the simulcast, there was a banner on the bottom of the screen that said, Zoe, we have a rice and veggie problem downstairs. So if this isn't his take, forgive me, but I read that to mean, and I thought I heard him say something along the lines of, they have too many rice and veggies downstairs, that every dish they serve every day for lunch comes with rice and veggies. It's rice, veggies, and this, rice, veggies, and that. And there's always rice and veggies down there. And there's not enough accompaniment of other kinds.
He's looking for a mashed potato, a scallop potato, mac and cheese, things of that nature as sides.
I could not disagree more. And the reason I want to bring this to the public is that I'm worried that he's actually going to influence their menu down there. The best part of our downstairs cafeteria is that there's almost always rice and veggies. Rice is my desert island food. Like, I want rice with everything. And always having rice there, like the number of times I go into a restaurant and there's no rice on the menu, I ask for rice. No, we can't make rice. Because it's like, I guess, labor intensive or it goes. I don't know why.
Tough to boil water these days.
I don't know why rice isn't everywhere all the time, but it's not. A lot of restaurants, I can't get rice. All I want is rice. So if anyone down there, do not listen to Zoe. He's a Neanderthal. No. Rice and veggies go with everything. Every day, rice and veggies. Don't listen to Zoe.
I couldn't agree more with that argument. Seriously, I think it's not only is it a staple, it's good. I love vegetables. I've loved them since I was a kid. The only thing I really eat down there is from the salad bar. There were lots of reasons for that, but I brought in a stir fry today that my wife made that's rice and vegetables. And I'd eat it every day, every single day. I freaking love vegetables.
Just say, shut your pie holes, though.
Get a sandwich and a bag of chips. It'll suffice.
No. Rice and veggies.
I mean, there's so much you can do with it, too, actually. Like, you can put it in a burrito.
Put a piece of dog crap on rice and veggies, and I'm going to eat it.
Massachusetts House passed a bill requiring public schools to implement bell-to-bell bans on cell phones. Your thoughts? Also, where else should we ban cell phones?
1,000% in favor. 1,000%.
Me too.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a joke. Any school would allow kids to have their phones on and with them during the day. I think that's a joke. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Should absolutely be a law. Most of the private schools that can just choose their own policy have chosen that policy. Most. I've found that, like, at Rivers, Mazz, don't they allow the cell phones?
When you get into high school, they do, but
you know why? Because all the kids are smart and motivated, and like there's certain schools where the kids are so dialed that
They're not looking at their phones.
you don't need to worry about the phone. But most of the places you do. So it should be a law. And where should they be banned? I don't know. They shouldn't be banned anywhere. What should be banned is talking on phones. You shouldn't be able to talk on your phone with earbuds in airplanes even before you take off. Like that, for example.
So I think, I would say all public places. And when I say public places, I mean, you're waiting at the gate at an airport and someone's next to you flapping on the phone.
No. That's talking. He means cell phones, period.
Okay, I'm referring to the talking part.
Me too.
So, yeah, the talking part to me, if you want to talk on your phone, there should be like a little room somewhere. You go in and shut the door and disappear.
Yeah, like a smoker.
Yeah, or like a phone booth, like a phone booth used to be.
Agreed.
I don't want to hear your effing phone call. So go the being on the phone and doing that's like being on your laptop.
Do
like
it wherever
that.
you want.
Yeah, that I allow.
Doesn't bother me.
So, but no public places, no talking. On the
I guess no cell phones in the car, maybe when you're driving.
Yeah, I'm also for that.
That could be a law.
Next, I have a weakness for big, soft pretzels. You pair it with some dippable cheese, mustard, all-time snack, all-time app. The gut of the 99, it's the balls. That said, rank your top 5 pretzel shapes and styles.
Okay, 5 is strong. I agree with you on the soft pretzel and the nacho cheese. Even
an elite snack.
The ball green, elite. Tremendous. Pretzel.
I'll take 3.
Pretzel shape? Well, this is kind of off the grid. I like the pretzel with the peanut butter in the middle of it.
It's a great snack.
Yeah, pretzel peanut butter.
Those are good.
I like the Hanover's has them. They're like flavored pretzel nibs that are like.
They got the
honey mustard
one with the onion.
Thank you.
That thing's the balls.
So that.
Yeah.
And then
the nibs, those are great.
Is that what they call them, nibs?
Yeah,
I got nibs right here on my list.
There we go, nibs. Mazz actually wrote them. Did you write them down?
Yeah, I did because when Murray said show your work, I thought he wanted pictures. So go ahead.
And then I also like the thin waffle pretzel that is you would buy in the bag.
Yeah.
So I like all soft pretzels. Generally, I don't dislike the hard ones. The ones with the peanut butter are good, but the soft ones to me are better. Typically, your standard old figure 8 with the sprinkled salt on it, tremendous. The other thing that can be really good on a pretzel is melted butter.
Oh, yeah.
Like really, really good. Those nibs are outstanding. My kids used to get them at, there's a place in the mall, I think it's called Auntie Anne's.
Yeah, Auntie Anne's, yeah.
Yeah, and they sell them in cups, and you can get the nibs. They had cinnamon on them. They were so freaking good. It was out of this world. And recently I was in a restaurant where a guy down the table got pretzels as an appetizer, and they delivered them like 6 sticks. They were like, pretzel.
Oh, yeah.
But they were soft ones. They weren't rods. They weren't pretzel rods. They were sticks. Like they almost look like
they're soft rods.
Slightly thinner crullers that you would get in a donut.
I know
store.
them well.
Oh my God, they were so good, outstanding. So those would be on my list.
Yeah, big guy, soft rod, regular rod. The hard rod.
Sure.
Who doesn't want one of those? And then the nibs, and then the nibs with the peanut butter. The old time sourdough ones, disgusting, and they get all over you. Those are the ones I don't like. Like the ones that shatter, the dry ones.
My wife would disagree strongly.
Finally, the dull roar of the jet completely drowning out the sound. At any given point, there's approximately 8-9 people within smelling distance that will look around equally, if not more culpable, for the putrid stench that fills the air. I've painted the picture. Do you fart with impunity on airplanes?
Never. Not only do I not do it with impunity, I don't ever do it unless it's a mistake, and we all make mistakes. It's something like that, Mazz. Yes, thank you. But never, never, never. And it's in the same bucket as the guy that's talking with his earbuds in the phone. People consider me like an a-hole or not very... they have me wrong. I'm not like outgoing or gracious or that, but I consider myself probably the most considerate person I know because I don't infringe on your space. I don't infringe on your time or space. I don't take up your time. I don't talk into your space. I don't expel odors into your space. I don't physically come into your space. I'm just in my thing. I don't get in your way. I don't take up your time. I'm not going to make you listen to my phone conversation. I'm not going to make you smell my ass. I'm not going to make you have to, move around my physical presence. And that to me is the height of being considerate. And I feel really strongly about this. And anyone that invades my time or space, I look at like, you're taking up my time. You're making me listen to you. Now I got to smell you? Like, what an a-hole. Do not fart in an airplane. Go ahead.
I fart like a bullfrog all the time. I mean, and I would tell you that I think I've mastered the art because I just feel like I'm going to pop sometimes, man. You got to let it go. But I will say I try to smother it. So usually it's in my seat. So, as long as you don't kind of like let it breathe, you kind of just, pin your knees together and you can smother that.
The extra filter you can use, because I do it all the time, especially if it's an early flight. I'm a nervous flyer, so I get a little bubbly in the stomach. I got to let them rip. But you take the blanket that they give you or the pillow,
cover it up.
You cover it up, and there's your filtration system.
Correct.
But they got to come out.
Yeah, and I again, if I just kind of pinch my knees together, again, I can let it go, and it never sees the light of day.
So at least you're giving a partial nod to those around you.
I try.
No, definitely. Oh yeah, no. I wouldn't expose other people to it.
No, because I know.
Listen, I could clear that plane.
Yeah, early morning too, like just black coffee. You're gonna taste them.
In fact, now that I think about it, airlines should hire me so that people get off the plane sooner, because I can get them off there if you want me to do it.
All right, so concludes 5 questions for this week.
I promise we have a development on Rossini Vrabel, a report to give you coming up.
And this is great.
After Big Jim Murray gets you updated, 90 seconds, no commercials.